So you have served 6 terms as prime minister, over 15 years in power. Let me ask you again, human nature. Do you worry about the corrupting nature of power on you as a leader, on you as a man?
Not at all, because I think that the thing that drives me is nothing but the mission that I took to assure the survival and thriving of the state, the Jewish state. That is, its economic prosperity, but its security and its ability to achieve peace with our neighbors. And I'm committed to it. I think there are many things that have been done. There are a few big things that I can still do, but it doesn't only depend on my sense of mission. It depends on the market, as we say. It depends really on the will of the Israeli voters, and the Israeli voters have decided to vote for me again and again, even though I wield no power in the press, no power in many quarters here, and so on. Nothing. I mean, I'm going to be very soon the longest serving prime minister in the last half century in the Western democracies. But that's not because I amassed great political power in any of the institutions. I remember I had a conversation with Silvio Berlusconi, who recently died, and he said to me about, 15 years ago, something like that. He said, "So, Bibi, how many of Israel's television stations do you have?" And I said, "None." He said, "You have none?"
Do you have?
Do you have? I said, "None. I have 2.
Yeah.
He said, "No, but what, you mean you don't have any that you control?" I said, "Not only do I have none that I control, they're all against me." So he said, "So how do you win elections?" And, with both hands tied behind your back. And I said, "The hard way." That's why, I have the largest party, but I don't have many more seats that I would have if I had a sympathetic voice in the media. And Israel until recently, was dominated completely by one side of the political spectrum that, often vilified me. Not me, because they viewed me as representing basically the conservative voices in Israel that are majority. And so the idea that I'm an omnipotent, authoritarian dictator is ridiculous. I am, I would say, I'm not merely a champion of democracy and democratization. I believe ultimately the decision is with the voters, and the voters, even though they've had, they have constant press attacks, they have chosen to put me back in. So I don't believe in this thing of amassing the corrupting power. If you don't have elections, if you control the means of influencing the voters, I understand what you're saying. But in my case, it's the exact opposite. I have to constantly go in elections, constantly, with a disadvantage that the major media outlets are very violently sometimes against me. But it's fine, and I keep on winning. So I don't know what you're talking about. I would say the concentration of power lies elsewhere, not here.
Well, you have been involved in several corruption cases. How much corruption is there in Israel? And how do you fight it in your own party and in Israel?
Well, you should ask a different question. What's happened to these cases? These cases have basically are collapsing, and before our eyes, there was recently an event in which the 3 judges in my case, called in the prosecution and said, your flagship, the bribery charge, so-called bribery charge, is gone, doesn't exist. Before a single defense witness was called, and it sort of tells you that this thing is evaporating. It's quite astounding. Even that, I have to say, was covered even by the mainstream press in Israel, because it's such an earthquake. So, a lot of these charges are not a lot. These charges will prove to be nothing. I always said, listen, I stand before the legal process. I don't claim that I'm exempt from it in any way. On the contrary, I think the truth will come out, and it's coming out. We see that not only that, but with other things. So I think it's kind of instructive that, No politician has been more vilified. None has been put to such what is it? About $250 million shekels were used to scrutinize me, scour my bank accounts, sending people to the Philippines, into Mexico, into Europe, into America, and looking at everybody using spyware, the most advanced spyware on the planet, against my associates, blackmailing witnesses, telling them, think about your family, think about your wife, you better tell us what you want. All that is coming out in the trial. So I would say that most people now are not asking, are no longer asking, including my opponents. It's sort of trickling in as the stuff comes out. People are not saying, what did Netanyahu do? Because he apparently did nothing. What was done to him is something that people ask. What was done to him? What was done to our democracy? What was done in the attempt to put down somebody who keeps winning elections despite the handicaps that I described? Maybe we can nail him by framing him. And the one thing I can say about this court trial is that things are coming out, and that's very good. Just objective things are coming out, changing the picture. So I would say the attempt to brand me as corrupt is falling on its face. But the thing that is being uncovered in the trial, such as the use of spyware on a politician's surroundings to try to shake them down in investigations, put them in flea-ridden cells for 21 days, invite their 84-year-old mother to investigations without cause, bringing in their mistresses in the corridor, shaking them down. That's what people are asking. That corruption is what they want corrected.